Okay, good morning, students. Welcome to the 38th lecture of Industrial Management and Smart Technology subject. Today, in this class, we'll discuss about the other topic, that is how the material is moving from one place to other place in the stores department or in the factory department or in the any ground level or in the other levels department. So, in the majority of the factories or firms or industries, how the material is transferring. So we have discussed till now the topics related to the materials management. Now we'll discuss about the types of material handling system in the industries. So if you see in any movies or if you see in any places, you can see some sort of machines moving the material, and it may be any kind of material. So it depends upon the design, depends upon the application, depends upon the material. The materials or the equipments are moving. So here what we are saying is, so in the types of equipment, in the types of equipment, so we are having various number of equipments, depends upon the application and depends upon the what type of product you are using. For example, in your factory you are having the metal sheets, big metal sheets of 8 meters, 10 meters by 4 meters, like that. So how you will carry those metal sheets? So you should have some type of hoist jib crane machines. So in other example, if in your if you in your factory you are making some chemicals, so you are getting powder as a raw material. Then how this powder is transferring from one place to other place, right? Next, so depends upon the product what you are choosing or making or raw material what it is getting. You have to decide what type of material handling equipment you should purchase. Okay, so here I am giving the brief introduction of this metal handling system. So here in the types of equipment, so we are having various number of equipments, but somehow I am showing the simple pictures of the conveyor belt. So see here, so these are the products what you are getting. So the products what you are getting, and this is a conveyor belt where it is moving in this fashion. So here the raw materials or processing materials are moving on the conveyor belt. So for example, in the biscuit manufacturing companies, so in order to get the biscuits, you have to make your metal handling maximum possible, and it should be very lengthy, and the biscuit should not get break for that reason. So you have to maintain the conveyor type of system. Next, power industrial trucks. So see this truck. So this is a person sitting on the machine, and this is a vehicle where the cotton boxes or where the granite stones or whatever the materials are lifting on this power truck, and this person is lifting this truck and moving from one place to other place in the factory or in the outdoors. That is forklift. We are saying as a industrial forklifts or trucks. Next, slings. So see here. So these are the slings which are made up of some leather or cloth material, and this can be used or the tents or this can be used or some other materials, and how this can be lifted. Next, cranes, jib crane or hoist crane, like that. So here the jib crane on the top, on the roof of the factory, you have to maintain a rail, a track like this. So ఈ ఎండ్కి ఆ ఎండ్కి ట్రాక్ ఉంటుంది. సో మధ్యలో ఈ జిప్ క్రేన్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. సో ఏ పర్సన్ కెన్ స్టాండ్ ఆన్ ద జిప్ క్రేన్ అండ్ he can do any repair works. So this will be moved by the high synchronous motors. So in this cranes you are having a hoist, in the wireless hoist ఉంటుంది. So you have to maintain this process for lifting up of heavy sheets or log పెద్ద చెట్టు మొద్దులు sheets or some other material. Next, what are the hazards associated with the material handling? So what is the point here? What are the hazards? Hazards means problems. So what are the problems associated with the material handling equipment? Material handling equipment. So here the factors which are contributing the injuries means injuries are weight and bulkiness of the object. So for example, instance in your house or somewhere else also. So when in order to lift any weight, so immediately or without any general knowledge, so generally people will lift the weight. So before that we have to study how the weight is acting on the ground, how it is balanced. So here see here the weight and bulkiness of the objects and bending, twisting, turning movements. See here this person is doing some operations, doing some process in the factory, lifting of materials and placing here. So but this person has to, for example, take, suppose these are the paper rolls, and he has to carry this paper roll and to place on this box. So this is a stand where he is placing the rolls. So whenever he is placing the rolls, you have to maximum check for the weight and bulkiness of the object. So you have to get balanced. So this person has to get balanced and it has to sit on this platform uniformly. That is the way of doing the mistakes. So see this one. This person has to place this object on this table without any jerks and without any bending or twisting of the objects. So for that we have to use some sort of cranes or hanging cranes or hoist. Next, weight of the material. See the weight of the material. Binding ties or other devices that secure bundles or bound batteries. What is the next thing? Weight of the materials, binding ties or other devices that secure bundles or bound materials. So see the here. So this person is removing this log, చెట్టు మొద్దుల్ని లేపుతున్నాడు. So whenever this process is doing, whenever here the weight is overbalanced and not equal to the counterbalance, automatically ఈ మనది లిఫ్ట్ చేసేటప్పుడు ట్రక్ అనేది పైకి పైకి లేస్తుంది. Why? Because you are not maintaining the proper balance. The counterbalance also should be equal. లేకపోతే ఏం జరుగుతుంది? This type of mistakes you have to face. See this one, improper setting, improper binding. So there is no proper binding of the objects, right? Next, falling objects, lifting, pushing, pulling, otherwise manually moving large and heavy items. So see this person. So in the factory, he is wearing everything safety, but he is moving a big drum, so which is fitted with some material. So during this removal of this place from this place to keeping other place, so if anything happens in between, so what happens, the material will get leaked or the material will get damaged. So for that reason we have to maintain the proper hazardous conditions, proper safety conditions in order to move forward. Next, coming to the injuries commonly reported in the any factory firm or construction or any other places. Next, see here, the person is lifting it and keeping it on the head or shoulder. So whenever this type of heavy machinery is hanged is over your shoulder or a head, what happens? Sprains, stresses, strains, tears, soreness, body headache, body pains, bruises, and constitutions. Cuts, lacerations, punctures, crushing, and amputations. So all these health hazards will occur whenever you are not lifting the load properly, right? So it should be symmetrical type of objects so that you can carry easily. Okay, next. Next one is next topic to be discussed. So this material handling system is very basic introduction for you at the diploma level. In the BTech level, it will be we will discuss in detail topics about the conveyor or some other materials so that you can see how realistically the material will be moving from one place to other place. Next one is e-procurement process. What's the meaning of e-procurement? The name E is saying that electronic procurement process. Okay, it is showing that electronic procurement process. So what happens in this electronic procurement process? So why we have to learn this electronic procurement process? One second. Okay. So next topic is e-procurement process. So what is the meaning of e-procurement process? So this is generally comes under the Internet of Tools, ICT. Oh, sorry, it comes under the process of IoT means Internet of Tools. So e-procurement means electronics ద్వారా purchase చేయడము. So whatever the things you are purchasing now in the last since 3 to 5 years, nothing but e-procurement process. Simply doing online business. So e-procurement is application of technology. E-procurement means it is application of technology to the public procurement, right? To the public procurement. So in the e process, the implementation strategy is a management and reform programs. The implementation strategies are management and implementation programs. So it applies to the acquisition of works. It applies to the acquisition of works, goods and services. So the objectives include to improve the efficiency and the management. The objectives include the efficiency and management. Okay. So what does this mean here? So here the concepts of the e-procurement means whatever the government process or public or private process. So whatever the things you are keeping in the internet or it may be in any government issues. So the procurement should be done according to the following terms and conditions. According to the following terms and conditions, right? So the objectives include to improve the efficiency and management of any firm, whatever the things we are doing. So we have to do the things positively in this e-procurement process. Next. So how the auditing checklist is done in the e-procurement process, we'll see now. So in this process, in the procurement process, the main simple thing is doing the business online, So whether the procurement plans, and audit checklist prepared and displayed or not, whether the procurements were made as per the procurement plan or not. So uh, this information is regarding to the government procurement or government tendering processes. Okay. Next, whether the method adopted for procurement and all the steps as per the purchase policy were taken or not. So whenever you are going for any procurement process, so we have to follow some of the steps. So what are the steps related here? So we have to see the checklist. We have to see the checklist and what type of method you are adopting for procurement and the steps we are taking for procurement as per the policy were taken. Next, whether the tender selection committee, evaluation selection committee was constituted or not and involved in the procurement procedure or right. So these are the things to be done whenever you are going for any e-procurement process. So the method, what type of procurement method you are following. So what are the steps you are taking? What type of plan you are going for doing the procurement plan. So if you take an example of a government tender example తీసుకుంటే, so procurement methods and plans are different for different categories. So some types of procurement will be based purely upon the tendering process. Some types of thing will be done directly as per the schedule. Next, what is the meaning of and whether the overall procurement was done with a reasonable time. So whenever you are doing the process, so the procurement process is doing the reasonable time or it is going beyond the time. So in the internet, in the Google, so during the procurement process, you have to maintain some timings, right? So based upon the timings and the things, you have to go for procurement and with a reasonable time. Next, whether there was any avoidable delay at any stage or stages of the procurement process. So what is this point says? Is there any delay knowingly? Knowingly means when we are doing any delay, any process, or there is no manpower or there is no supply of the material. So based upon other conditions like this also, we have to check whether is there any delay and we should not waste the time during procurement process. Next, whether the necessary approvals was been taken from appropriate authority wherever required. So what is the point says here? So for a procurement process, as we are taking any approvals or not. So we are taking any approvals or not from the authority. So any what type of transportation approval or authority, setting of material or say whatever it is. So we have to see the approval taken from appropriate authority wherever required, right? So next, Next procurement check is whether proper and adequate documents are maintained or not. So during the procurement process, we are maintaining proper checklist. That is, we are maintaining proper paperwork, proper documentation, proper analysis is maintained or not. We have to check. Next, whether the pre-qualification screening for issue of tenders documents was done properly and in a fair manner or not. So what is the next point? Whether the pre-qualification screening for issue of tender documents. So before going for procurements or any other government or any legal issues, paperwork, generally we have to go over the screening of the papers. So the next one is whether the technical and whether the technical and financial evaluation was done properly in a fair manner. So before going for a final procurement process, we have to see the technicalities present in the procurement process and also the financial related problems, whether it is done in a proper way or you are misused the financial evaluation, we have to check properly. So like this, we have to go for this type of processes before going for any procurement audit checklist. So procurement audit checklist means you have to maintain all the documents, how you are maintaining for your any counseling or any whatever the things you are doing in your education. In the same way, you have to maintain all the documents so that it will be easy for your further process. Next, what are the benefits of e-procurement process? Institutional compliance. So depends upon the system you are maintaining, depends upon the firm you are maintaining. You have to go for the compliance. Compliance means the place where you are getting any problems or you can rectify it. So institutional memory. So you have to maintain the institutional memory whenever you are doing the e-procurement process. Single stop shop. So during the online purchase in the any tendering or any bid, so we'll discuss about tendering topic also. So we have to see for the single stop shop. Okay, so you have to maintain that type of platform so that there will be a total concept of purchasing or total concept of seeing the single stop business. Increased price transparency, increased price transparency. So in the increased price transparency, we have to see the we should not hide any prices. So during the procurement process, we should not go any second market or we should not go any behind the procurement process. We have to deal all the things transparently during the prices. Next point. Right. Next one is human touch points decreased. So because of the C procurements, automatically we can reduce the human touch points. Means human touch points means physically the people or the firm is not touching the material. So directly they are procuring the materials from the online process platform only. Just like our how we are doing the Flipkart or like this. So here the procurement means just you are purchasing. That is one type of thing. When the procurement means it is doing between or among firms to firms or factories to factories. So that is human touch points are decreased. So whenever the human touch points are decreased, automatically the efficiency will increase. How and why? Why? How and why means, so during the course of time, the efficiency is increased whenever the products or services are online, right? Next, increases internal efficiency, obviously. So because of the e-procurement process, we can increase the efficiency internally. Internally means the processes from one place to other place, the transaction from one place to other place, the information sharing. So we can reduce and we can increase the efficiency. Next, best value for the money. So in the e-procurement process, you can see the exact rates, the discount rates, and the information will be transparent. So when the information is transparent, automatically we can save our money and we can give the importance or value for the money, right? That is other thing. Next point, equal opportunity versus economic development. So whenever you are doing the e-procurement process step by step or frequently for any firm, automatically the opportunities will be increased and you can maintain equal opportunities for the buyer as well as seller, and you can increase the economy. So these are some of the benefits for e-procurement process. Next, what is the meaning of principles of document, principles of procurement? First one is transparency. Transparency is letting everyone know not only the facts and figures of procurement. So transparency అంటే ఏంటి? Transparency means letting everyone know not only the facts and figures of procurement but also the mechanisms and procedures followed. So the first principle is maintaining the transparency. So whenever you are maintaining the transparency, automatically the public or the people will have trust on you. నమ్మకం అనేది ఏర్పడుతుంది. So whenever there is a trust on you, then you should not you should not maintain the facts, right? So whenever there is a trust on any process or any firm, automatically they can believe and there will be the transparency in the mechanism as well the procedures what they are following, right? So but if you see in normal some government services offline, so in offline process, the offline process, so without any proper information or there will be some hiding of the information when any public, when any people are involved. Sorry. So, but in case of online process, so every people can watch the processes, how the process is going on. For that reason, you have to maintain a proper checklist as well as the terms and conditions, and you have to maintain the transparency. So whenever you are maintaining the transparency, automatically the efficiency will increase and the people will trust and believe the work, how the work is done, right? Next, equal opportunity and fairness. Equal opportunity and fairness. Being objective and ensuring impartial, unbiased, and equitable treatment of tenders by conforming with the rules and standards free from discrimination and dishonesty. So we have to maintain the equal opportunity and fairness whenever you are doing business by online purchasing or procurement process. So in this process, being impartial, being transparent, being unbiased, and equitable treatment, automatically the rules and standards free from discrimination and dishonesty will be gained. So therefore, there will be honest, there will be no discrimination, there will be no partiality, there will be no any other problems whenever you are having the equal opportunity and fairness. Next, third principle is economy. Economy means the money, right? So here, achieving economy means getting the right thing at the right place, right? Economy means achieving the economy is అంటే ఎకానమీని మనం అచీవ్ చేయాలంటే సో డెఫినెట్లీ యూ హ్యావ్ టు గెట్ ద రైట్ థింగ్ అట్ రైట్ ప్రైస్. అంటే సరైన వస్తువు సరైన ధరకి యూ హ్యావ్ టు పర్చేస్ మీన్స్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు గో ఫర్ ద వాల్యూ ఆఫ్ మనీ, విఎఫ్ఎం, వాల్యూ ఫర్ మనీ. నెక్స్ట్ వన్ ఈస్ ఎఫిషియన్సీ. సో ఇన్ ద ఎఫిషియన్సీ with economy in price and choice of item, ensuring its arrival in the right place at the right time for its intended use of efficiency. There is money for value, value for money, money for value. And this money for value with economy in price and choice of item, ensuring its arrival in the right place at the right time for the intended use of efficiency. Next one is classification of procurement process. So coming to the classification, first one is procurement of goods and materials. Procurement of goods and materials. So how the materials are procured, how the goods are procured, how the materials are procured. You can have the detailed classification. First one is procurement of goods and material. Second one, procurement of works. Works means the services what you are getting. For example, if you see any government services, so some people, for example, if you see any civil construction from the government services, roads and buildings. So apart from the government officers, you are having outside private people waiting for the place in the stores or maintaining the works. So you can see the type of categories in the procurement of the works. Procurement planning process. So how the procurement planning process is maintained. Okay. So the separate planning for procurement is the separate planning for procurement. First one is goods. How you are purchasing the goods. Planning. How you are making the planning for purchasing of the goods. Next, consulting services. Means for example, consulting services ante, for example, take outside a lorry transport association. If you see on the roadside, on the outskirts of any town, so they will take, they will, you can see some services, some lorry, road lines, or some transportation. So what these people are doing? These people are doing some consultancy services for the transportation process. So these people have some vehicles maintained from for by some other owners, and these people will give information on passing or doing some licensing business, and they are calling the people. So how we have achieved, right? Right. Next one is works. How you are maintaining the work. So if you are having a long time works, how you are maintaining the long term works. If you are having short time works, how you are maintaining the short-term works. So like this, you have to go for procurement planning process. Next, what are the methods of procurement? Coming to the methods of procurement, direct purchase method, right? By inviting without any people. So in the direct purchase, without any quotation or tender, in the direct purchase, without any quotation, giving in prior or without any tendering, giving in prior. అంటే ముందుగానే మనం quotations, tenders ఇవ్వకుండా. So in some cases, in some emergency cases, we can have the method of direct purchasing, direct procurement process. Second one, procurement by inviting the quotation. In some cases, when there is any time, when there is sufficient time and sufficient money, so some people will send the invitations by sending the quotations. So this is my rate. So if there is any person doing less than my rate, I am ready for giving the project to you. So that is the concepts of procurement by inviting the people, procurement by inviting the quotations. Next one, procurement by inviting the tenders. So the third one is procurement by inviting the tenders. One is by procurement by self, that is procurement without invitation, procurement with invitation, and procurement without invitation. Right? So these are the things what you are doing in this method. What the first method? Direct purchase. Second method. Third method, and the second method is you can go like that also, right? The procurement by inviting the tenders also. Next point. So what is the time? 7:03. So these are the various concepts of procurement process and classification, the principles of procurement, the methods of procurement, and benefits of e-procurement process. So we'll stop the class here. So in this class, what we have discussed means the equipment processes, material handling processes, and what's the meaning of e-procurement process. What is the meaning of e-procurement? What are the benefits of e-procurement process? Right? What are the benefits of e-procurement process? And whenever a person is going for any procurement online, how the checklist is to be maintained, what are the documents and what are the checklist, what are the time calculations, what is the price, you have to everything you have to check. Next one is benefits of e-procurement. What are the benefits of e-procurement? Next, what are the principles of e-procurement process? What are the principles you have to maintain? That is, transparency you have to maintain, the equal opportunity you have to maintain, economy related issues you have to maintain, efficiency you have to maintain, like that. Next, coming to the classifications, how you are classifying the procurement, that is goods and materials procurement, procurement of works. Next, how you are planning the procurement process, goods versus goods concept, consulting services, and works type. Coming to the methods, you are having direct purchase method, procurement by inviting the quotation, procurement by inviting the tenders. So with this, we'll stop the class. We'll discuss the class tomorrow by taking the other concept, right? So within 2 or 3 classes, we can wind up the unit 4 and we will switch on to the unit 5, right? So in the procurement process, generally it is a time-taking process in some firms, and it is a very simple process in some firms. So everything is internet related, right? So you have to maintain proper information for your growth, right? So when there is a procurement of works or consulting services, so whenever a new person or a new player entering into market, so the person, if the person don't know any how the procurement process is done, what are the terms and conditions you have to maintain. So in such cases, automatically the consulting services will help and will give the information and will guide towards the procurement process, how the process is done, how the servicing things are done and going on. So about the consulting services. So these consulting services will give the total information or will give the pros and cons of e-procurement process. And if you are maintaining these consulting services as a continuous process, keeping with you for your business, these persons will give the updates and other things to be discussed when the process is going on. So the consultancy services will act as a third party, right? The consultancy services will act as a third party and will give the proper information to the service, what the people, how they are doing the business things, right? So with this, we'll stop the class and we'll discuss the e-tendering process from tomorrow. So this is e-tendering. So tendering procurement is everything is done in the on the online, which are 60 to 80% related. What the meaning of e-tendering? What the meaning of e-procurement? Okay, so we'll stop the class and we'll discuss the session in the tomorrow's class.